Where's my other one? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am just looking for my other. Here we are. Is this it? No. Is this it? No. Okay, so I was looking for, well, let's see. We are going live, so that's okay. Sorry, you guys, I'm just, you know me, doing a little bit of things to prepare. Okay, and and while I'm doing my thing, I'm going to do this. Whoops, is this you?
All Uber drivers.
That's not you. Oh yes, it is you. Oh, here you are. Okay, so I'm just cutting and pasting this on.
Guys, this is Senator John Ox.
If they asked me, I could write a book about the way you walk and whisper and look. I could write a preface on how we met so that the world would never forget. And the simple secret of that plot is just to tell them that I love you a lot. And then the world discovers as my book ends how to make two lovers, how to make two lovers, how to make two lovers of friends. Hey, thank you very much.
Yay! That was good. That's one of my favorite songs. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
back.
You were muted.
I was listening to that and then I was thinking, where is this from? Is this one from one of the early albums or something like that? And I'm like, gosh, I hope I'm better by now. And then you showed it. It was only a year ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that a fun song to solo over?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Yeah, that's a classic. I've been doing that for years.
Hey, Victor, my dear friend, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Victor Orlando is here. He's a really wonderful conga player, percussionist, and he has an, he has an amazing group that it's like it's kind of a callback to the funk, and
Sweet.
I mean, I went to see a show. I just danced the whole time.
Yeah.
Victor, you ought to check out Simon's Place in Orange County if you're out there. It's in Santa Ana, and it's called The Sanctuary. We're going to talk about it, but it's really, well, that was the room, actually. So yeah, it was really, really nice. Um, so good, babe. Um, Simon, hello.
Hello. How you doing, Kathy?
This is very casual.
Beautiful. That's why I thought it might be okay that I had a little scene change. I should probably explain that because as soon as you started playing that tune, I started dragging my desk into another studio here because my next door neighbor does this kind of muscle therapy stuff, and they have this little machine in there. The sound doesn't get through, but something travels through the radio waves or whatever, and it hits the equipment, and all of a sudden you hear this little zzz, zzz, zzz,
Oh.
zzz, zzz, zzz. So I'm like, she's doing a therapy thing right now. So so I had to like drag it into another room. I'm
Oh
so
my
glad it was
God.
at the start. So yeah.
Well, that's good. Wow, I don't know where to start. I met Simon through, we decided it was through Chloe Perrier,
That's right.
who's a wonderful French singer who I interviewed here. She lives in Los Angeles. She's a beautiful person and a really great singer. I noticed that she was working here, so I checked it out, contacted Simon. We were kind of like mind, right?
Hmm.
And then I came and sang for him with, the fabulous Jeremy Siskind and that great bass player. I really liked him. I forget his name though. What is his
Yeah,
name?
Kevin Karagosian.
He was wonderful. He
Yeah, just
read
wonderful.
great. His time and groove was great. Yeah, and he was very spontaneous and yeah, I really liked
Yeah.
him a lot. He was great. I heard
Oh
he
yeah.
was moving near you.
Yeah, he lives 30 seconds around the corner now. Not
Yeah,
even
that's
that.
cool.
And he's teaching students out of the studio here as well.
Oh, cool.
And I'm fortunate to get to work with them from time to time. So yeah,
That's
it's a
great.
pleasure.
That's great.
And your show
Um,
was so wonderful, Kathy. It was
oh,
that
thank
was
you.
such a beautiful night. And
That was a
gosh,
nice night.
Jeremy's just such a monster.
Oh my God, is he?
And we all just
He's
had so much
amazing.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know he's he's mind blowing. I mean, there's a few pianists that I've known over my life that I just say, yeah, they're a genius. He's one.
Yeah.
He's definitely one, and he's such a funny guy too.
We had a kid in here on Saturday. Uh, Emmett. Uh, I'm not going to say his last name right, and I'm struggling to remember how to say it. Anyway, Emmett, young kid, 15 years old, and he was on the piano accompanying a 17-year-old Miri Eisenberg. Um, and oh my gosh, this kid at 15 was just,
That's
they're just
crazy.
making them better and better. Isn't it
They are.
crazy?
They really are.
Oh
It's
man, he
crazy.
was just absolutely
Yeah.
shredding on this piano at 15.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. We're all just so impressed.
Was it jazz?
It was jazz, yeah.
Yeah.
He was very
So
sophisticated.
who's his teacher?
I have no idea. Uh,
Jeremy. No, I
maybe.
don't know.
I mean, he
Maybe.
goes to OSHA,
Mm,
so
yeah.
I feel like I need to do him justice. I'm going to get his name up right now. His name
Hey,
is Emmett Althoen. Altoen? Altoen. I'm going to say Althoen.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year or the year before, let's see. God, can't believe I'm not remembering the organization. Jazz JEXA. Okay, so there's an organization in LA that was started a few years ago by a doctor who's a jazz singer too. And he wanted to benefit younger kids who were studying jazz and wanted to come up, and
Mm.
wanted to acknowledge them. And yeah, the guy's got a big heart. He really wanted to, create this. So I saw some incredible young people, and there's a few. Well, I mean, yeah, there's like a handful, of people who were like brilliant,
Yeah.
um, and they're teenagers. Um, two of whom, well, one. Did you ever hear of John Prue, the pianist singer?
You know what? Is he the father of
Maya.
Maya? Yeah, she just did a gig here a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, she did.
So I've only heard about John through
I was
her
just going to
and Zach.
brag
Yeah.
about Maya. Isn't she brilliant?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I only learned that she was 17 at the end of the concert. The whole
Hmm.
time I'm thinking, she's like, I don't know, 25 to
Yeah.
30,
Yeah.
and she just carries herself with such
Yeah.
a high level of maturity and
Yeah.
musicianship and just unbelievable. Yeah.
I know. That she's lovely. And the family, John and his wife Anna, they're just, you know, they're kind of, quality
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah.
John is, he's a really great pianist and singer. And I mean, Maya just came up in her interests, and they helped her, and she's amazing. So she was one of the recipients, and then another recipient was a guitar player named Jackson Petty, who
Mm.
sounds like Jim Hall, that kind of player. I mean, he's amazing. He's from a musical family too. His mother's a singer, his father's a guitar player.
Mm.
They're involved in some kind of music organizations. His grandmother is a jazz singer from New York.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
mean, and he sounds like Jim Hall. He got in. He's going to New York to go to school. He got into one of the New York jazz schools.
Wow. It's
Yeah,
so cool to see that there's such interest in this style of
it
music
is.
in the younger generations. I remember I was on the cruise ships once. I did about a year total on cruise ships, and I had my quartet on there. And one day, well, let me preface this by saying something that my mentor in Australia, Paul Cusick, he always told me that in Australia, if you get to the top of your game on an instrument, you'll come to America and there'll be like a kid on the side of the street who's better than you. You know what I mean? It's just how it is in Australia, and that's kind of true. And I learnt that on the cruise ships because I had this all Australian band, and we're hanging out, we're playing in our jazz club there, and this kid, literally like a kid, 8 years old, he
Yeah,
comes up and he's like, "Hey, do you guys mind if I sit in with you?" We're like, "What is going on here?" This kid's 8 years old. He was from New Orleans, right?
yeah.
And he gets up, he knew all the chords. He was soloing better than most of us. and and was just shredding it on this piano at 8 years old, and it was such a lesson to me, like the America, just this culture, gosh, you've just got you just got the best in the world, and they flock here, and they grow up here. It's just amazing to see.
I think, we can say whatever we want about America, um, good and bad. But I think what America has truly is this. Uh, I guess it's an idea of freedom,
Yeah,
and so um, and it it's kind of part of the essence of the world's expectation, you know,
yeah,
here and other places. So when you actually get here, if that has lit a spark in you, it's a go,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And also just it seems to me, yeah, that freedom mixed with a sense of like, if you really want to do something, if you're obsessed with something, y- you know, there will be people out there who appreciate that and will kind of I've certainly noticed, there's uh, in England and Australia, we kind of talk about tall poppy syndrome. You may have heard of this.
No.
It's this feeling that we have like we're the tallest poppy in the field, and we don't want to be that because that's the first one to get chopped off, right? If a poppy grows above the others, right? So we don't want to pop our head out too high. We don't want to.
Huh.
There's just that kind of sense. But my impression, especially being here for 3 years now, I have just found so much joy in Orange County because I get this sense that there is a real appreciation in this culture for excellence. Now, there's also, we can always talk about the gosh, my favorite subject, how our culture in many ways is withering on the vine, and so there's so much.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, there's yeah, but for those who really can see and I think there's so many people over here who can see and appreciate really good art, and when they
Yeah.
see it, they want to lift it up. So I'm very, very happy and grateful to be here. It's a wonderful place to be.
It's great. Yeah. See, Simon and I, for those of you who know me, you can see why Simon and I have drifted together
Oh yeah.
because we think alike. Um, yeah. But yeah, I was I was listening to Alan Watts this morning as I was, putting on my makeup, and he was talking about um, basically that you're good enough just being, and how we all pretty much are born into thinking we're not good enough, no matter how subtle it is, it's like we have to be more, we have to be better, we're not like that person, and so there's all these subtle communications about that, and he kept talking, in his beautiful Alan Watts way, he kept talking about who you are, that you're a miracle, and um, you're unflowering, and um, just all these beautiful images. And um, I want to listen to that one again and again because
Mm.
it's almost like the other stuff that he was talking about, and I'm a pretty positive and active person, but that other stuff is kind of it's like sitting here over the expression that he was talking about. That's a deep part of me, right? And so, and of course, I mean, here I am doing exactly what he said you don't have to do. I'm thinking I could be more, or or I
Yeah.
have to get rid of that stuff. But I think, obviously we're lucky that we're artists, and we get to reflect others and ourselves in an artistic way that people can can gobble up. They can observe it, listen, enjoy, soak it in, and it does get in there and send other messages. So I mean, we're great, because it's a job that we have, a responsibility. Let's put it that way. And you know that too. You feel that too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel. Gosh, I love Alan Watts. I'm glad to find another kindred soul among us. But, uh, yeah, I've been very inspired by his stuff. But certainly, I mean, I think I feel deeply the responsibility to try and I guess I can't help but go to the metaphor of sanctuary. It's kind of in everything that I do, but to find that sanctuary within ourselves where we can where we know that we are okay. Well, let me step back a moment. One, because I hear you in that Alan Watts message of, you don't need to do anything, you just need to be what you are. I think one thing that my mentor Rocco taught me, which I think is really interesting when thinking about this idea, is just the difference between ambition and actualization.
Mm.
Ambition being a little
Hold
bit
on one
more,
second. Hold
yeah,
on. Keep your thought. I just want to
yeah,
let that soak in. Ambition, as opposed to actualization.
yeah.
Ambition and actualization. That's a really good, good thought. That's good.
Oh, we'll go there.
I don't know if you talk about that, but you should. Okay, go ahead.
Well, Rocco, I mean, he shared this with me, and he's just said, "Listen, ambition is you're saying, I want to be like that person, or I want to have what that person has, or I want to be, CEO like this dude, or whatever. I want to be like that artist."
Yeah,
Actualization says, "No, I want to bring about the fullness of who I am and what I am supposed to be here in this world." And I guess I have a little bit of that worldview of kind of everything's like a puzzle, and you're one of the pieces, and there's a place where you fit. Not in a here's our cultural expectations of you, now fit into your box kind of way, but in a kind of way of like, wouldn't it be nice if we all truly understood who we are and what our purpose is here, and decided to go on that adventure no matter what, right?
yeah,
No matter what difficulty or fear or challenges. And so for me, I definitely, I love that kind of Eastern philosophical idea of the kind of not overdoing it. Don't get in the way of things. Don't be too active, right? Something's happening here, be a part of it. But also, I think I lean much more towards that Western ideal of no, go out and conquer the world in the specific beautiful way that you can, right? Like, bring the beauty to the world that you can, and go after that, and be changed, and grow, and be moved, but always hopefully towards like circling in closer and closer to the essence of what you really are and what you actually have to bring to the world.
yes, right.
And that's a little less of the non-doing side of things. That's a little bit more of the uh, yes, go, do, be, become, but tread softly as you do it.
Yeah, to me, this is kind of a crucial aspect of life.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think a day goes by that I don't think about that somehow, you know.
yeah,
Um, I love, I mean, well, I've been looking through old photos and
beautiful.
videos. And so I've been seeing myself sing 40 years ago. I mean, and I've seen the hundreds and hundreds of people that I've known over the years. And it's definitely stirring up some, well, a lot of different emotions. you know, and there's something related to what we're talking about too, about that, you know, and not all the emotions are good that it's stirring up, but that's okay because they're there and I have to look at them. But when it comes down to like right now, um, it's just I don't want to go on and on and on about this, but it's just that it's different now. You know,
Yeah.
I came out here when I was 21. I was already a professional, and then I've been a professional for 50 years. And so now I'm I feel like I'm quieting down, or kind of getting off the hamster wheel a little. And so but the things that are presenting themselves, popping up, um, for the most part, are things that I want to do, and that are kind of are acknowledging that part of me that's very basic and not covered up by so much motion.
Mm.
And like ambition, I don't know if I ever had the normal kind of ambition. I always wanted to work. I always
Yeah.
wanted to sing. And I think that's just part of being young. You have this drive, right?
Yeah.
And then it comes in different ways. But yeah, I think this subject is what life is about for anybody, not just musicians, for everybody, right?
Mm. I love what you're saying there as well because it's pointing to the fact that uh, different seasons of our lives call us to a different kind of contemplation or a different kind of feeling. Um, and I just think it's beautiful that you have the wisdom uh, to to recognize that. I feel like it really goes wrong when you don't recognize that you're being called to
Yes,
look at your life through a different lens or
yes,
from a different perspective. That's when the midlife crisis comes in, oh, I wish I could have been this. I would, it's just, it can be beautiful. Any experience in our life can be beautiful when looked through the right lens. Don't you feel like
absolutely.
can be healing?
My friend asked me, what good experience had changed my life drastically.
Mm,
And when I thought about it, I answered her, it actually wasn't the good ones, it was the bad experiences that I changed the most from. And I'm thankful for it. I am. I mean, I'm thankful
yeah,
I'm through the bad period, because, you know, I was very emotional and, looking, and, it
yeah.
was hard. But but actually, I feel, yeah. And that's something that I want to do more and more is whatever presents itself that is negative, I want to be okay with that.
Mm,
And that's why one reason why jazz is so wonderful, isn't it? Because you get to experience so much when you're playing jazz,
yeah,
and you have to let it happen because if you don't, it gets fucked up.
yeah,
you
totally.
know?
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, so
I
that's
mean,
so
that was all of Miles Davis's philosophy, right? It was,
absolutely.
just listening to him in interviews is great. I love listening to his interviews because you get an insight into the philosophy behind the creativity and just he's sitting there and he's drawing and he doesn't give a crap about the interview. He's just doing his thing and the interviewer's like, what happens when you draw a wrong line? He's just all confused. He's like, what do you mean? No, there's no wrong line. The one that you draw after the one that you thought was wrong is going to correct it, right? So for him, it was just always like
A
it's just
flow.
this constant what's next, what's next, what's
Yeah.
next.
Yeah.
Not in that kind of, grasping way, but
Right.
like listening.
Yeah.
Ah, that's what's next, and then giving it. And you have to be that open. I definitely struggle with that sometimes. It's like I think the technical skills obviously help us to be a little bit more flexible in that flow,
Right.
and sometimes my personal limitations get in the way, and so you get that anxiety. Oh, where am I supposed to go here? Oh, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
when you can get into that flow, man, there's just nothing like it, and it is a perfect metaphor for like a beautiful, like well lived life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a little thing that I have a little idea that I created for students um, called the three universes. And because, especially for singers, they usually, growing singers, usually have trouble connecting to the music, right?
Hmm.
And like what you just described, you have to, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the road in. So the first universe is your own universe. You have to be as good as you can be. That's just it. It has to, you have to pay attention, train and, have good intonation and good timing and know the words and, right? So that's the
Yeah.
first universe. Second universe includes that and expands out to the musicians. So now this this is a universe, me and the musicians. And then so it's the same kind of thing. I'm responsible for my part in it, and I'm responding, I'm listening. And then the
Yeah.
third universe expands to the audience.
Yeah.
So a lot of times singers, young singers, start with the third universe, and then they're screwed because there's nothing happening. you know
Yeah.
you have to start the other way around, so that there's something of quality that is being shared. you know
Yeah.
and that's uh, I've found that a lot of my students over the years have said that that is a way for them uh, to get in that aesthetic universe, that you were
Yeah.
just mentioning, because I mean, that's it. Did I tell you this before? I don't think I did. There's this one Schofield record that Charlie Hayden is playing on. And
Okay.
so John Schofield, right? And so it he's he takes a guitar solo, and he's the great John Schofield, and it's a great guitar solo. And it's a little busy, and because it's a groovy song. Charlie Hayden takes the next solo. What does he do? Whole notes. Whole notes. And it's perfect, you
Yeah.
know. So um, the listening, the the curiosity of what will make it good, and how you can create it together, and the not rushing in, and you know taking control over something you don't really need to take control over.
Yeah.
um yeah.
Hmm. I think that's a really beautiful kind of method that you use for teaching as well. I think I was going to mention that it bears great resemblance to an idea found in the Stoic school of philosophy, and it's the idea of so the Greek word is oikaiosis, and oikaiosis is this kind of it's it's this kind of expanding of your soul. You might say the way that it works is they basically posit that, okay, well, in order to do good in the world, you start in one place, and that one place is like the seat of your decision making. That's literally the only thing that you can control. One thing, that's it. Everything else is out of your immediate control or power, influence. Uh, you start there,
Mm, I
then
love
you
that.
might be able to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
As that happens, you may become skilled enough that your influence, your help, your service can take care of a family. As that happens, then perhaps you can expand into your community. And then as that happens, basically all the way up to, okay, now you can, you've reached almost a level of union with the whole, right? That is
Yeah.
the point of oikeiosis. And and all the way along the way, it basically essentially just asks you, what influence can you really have here? Do you have the muscle, you know, the wherewithal to be able to handle this? And I just love what you're saying because it's exactly the same thing. It's like number one, take care of the things that you really need to do in order for your part in this to go well, right?
Yeah.
And then you're going to be able to communicate so much better with the band. And then once the band is happening and you're happening, then the audience can have this magical experience, right? And that to me, like that there is a kind of there's a flow state that can happen. There's a real magic that can happen when the performer, the band, and the audience are all just locked in on one thing together. You've probably felt that so many times. It's just magical. There's nothing like it. It's like a mass hypnosis sort of thing. Like,
Yeah. That's the real stuff.
yeah,
That's real. Well, I mean, and this kind of brings me over to the sanctuary, this place that you're sitting in that you created. Um, and I, I can only imagine that's what you wanted to create. I'm sure we talked about that before, but you know, that you wanted to create a place where it would be safe to do that and safe to look around and make mistakes and grow and experience that and you've created it and it's amazing.
it's yeah. I mean, it's the honor of my life to this point. I mean, I can't believe it. I just can't believe what's happened over the last year. Uh, I've been motivated by many forces. One of which actually is an idea that Alan Watts said in one of his talks. It was just a little passing comment. He once said, I get paid to speak and talk to people, and I feel it's sensible to get paid to do the thing that you love to do, right? And I just loved that comment because it's because what he was trying to say is like, okay, if you've got a unique gift and things like that, well, yeah, your goal should be to get paid to do the thing that you love and that you can really bring into the world. And what I love doing is, I love teaching people, uh, and I love being a part of an artistic community and helping artists to get their shot. Doing their first show or things like that. Just working with artists, working with creators. I love philosophy. I love uh, uh, lots of things, but I get to do all of those things in this space. I love exploring different instruments, and so really I built this space first and foremost because I wanted a creative studio where I would feel like I can bring the works that I want to create into the world, a place that would reflect what's going on in my soul. But then I also wanted to create a space where there would be an invitation for others to participate, and that's the local artists, the people in my circles, just and it's all happening so beautifully and organically, and I thank you for being a part of it. Seriously, thank you for being a part of it, Cathy, because uh, everything's just happened so organically so far, and that's exactly how I want to keep it. Um, and so it's my personal studio, but it's our studio, and it's this community studio, and it's being used as such, and that's what I want it for. And so we've started with music, and I teach a bunch of students in here each week, and we put on concerts. We're booked out until 2026 now for every Saturday, and I can't believe it. and and on top of that, you know, soon we're going to have philosophy and poetry and uh, literature. We're just going to have the arts and humanities in this space, and that's what I love to do, and that's why I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, this is literally the American dream. I can't believe it. You know, I came over here, had an idea, started it, and the beautiful thing is, you know, I was here with Leah Booth
Yeah.
and Kevin the other day, Kevin Karagosian, and because Leah's teaching out of here now as well. And I told Leah and Kevin about some conversations that I had had with my mentor Rocco, where he essentially said to me, and very rightfully so, he said, "Listen, Simon, uh, I am giving a gift here to you through this mentorship. And there are certain things I need to hear and see from you in order to know, just spiritually speaking, that there's true appreciation, capital T, capital A, true appreciation coming from your end for this gift that I'm giving." And I got it, you know, message received from Rocco. And I said to Kevin and Leah, like when I started putting the feelers out there for this kind of space, the kind of vision that I have for what I want this to be and what I think it could become in the future, and the kind of invitation that it gives to people. As soon as I started putting out there, there was immediate recognition and appreciation, true appreciation for what I was trying to bring into the world.
Yeah.
And that to me just means everything, because it means that I'm touching on something that people understand, get, and really want. And the artistic community is in, the parents are in, the students are in it. And so I'm just so grateful, and I really it's a true honor, and I just can't wait to see where it goes next, because it's going, it's wonderful places, you know.
Someday, if you haven't met the owner of the Blue Whale, have you ever met him,
I
Jim?
have not, no.
Someday, I want to introduce you. Maybe you'll come out to the Blue Whale when it's up and running, and you can meet June. I think that you you and he, I mean, have have that in common. You know, so it like 15 years ago or something. June June actually was a student of mine. He was Korean. He came to America to, his father wanted him to um, be an architect, and
Mm.
he was interested in that. But he had this love for jazz, and so when he came here, he went to Musicians Institute to ask for a vocal teacher. At that time, I was uh, I had kind of moved out of teaching basically under their program, but I was still a referral. So
Mhm.
he and I hooked up. Wonderful singer, you know, totally surprised, like the kind of singer who shows up and he says, "I want to sing jazz." And I said, "Okay, well, what do you, you know, let's hear you. What do you want to sing?" "All the things you are." Okay. You know, not the first one for a beginner
Yeah, yeah,
usually, but so, and he was great. His, you know, he totally had it. I mean, you
yeah.
know, young, but he's like totally had it. And then I said, "Do you scat?" And he said, "Not really." And I said, "Okay, let's see," you know, and yep. And so anyway, well, it was quite a while later. I don't know, maybe 10 years later, something like that. He he called me up and he said, "Kath, I'm opening a club." And I said, "What?" You know, it's like, it blew my mind. I mean, he was a student from Korea, you know, and he's opening a club. So he opened the Blue Whale downtown. And his dream was to have an international type of club that had uh, a leaning more towards modern jazz, you know.
Yeah.
Not that he was opposed to, you know, the standard type of straight ahead, but leaning more towards that. And kids could come, you know, everybody could come, right?
Yeah.
And he built an amazing spot that everybody was attracted to. He was cool, and but his intentions were so good
Mm.
that if it wasn't for the pandemic, it still would have been going in that spot. Now he's moving to Atwater um, after a number of years of hiatus, and
They had
so,
to close down during the pandemic.
yeah, because
Oh,
there
that's
was no
rough.
business and
Yeah.
it was very expensive in that building. So yeah, so now he's building. Wait till you see the spot. It's you're gonna be blown away. It's like a sound stage,
I
and
can't
it
wait.
has, yeah, it has this one big room for the jazz, whatever we're talking about, that kind of jazz. I
Wow.
bet it holds, I don't know, it could hold at least 150 people in there, maybe more,
Hmm.
200. And then there's a smaller room that might hold 75 people that he wants to he has in mind, like um, world music and classical. And then he is opening up a restaurant in the front so that people will go there, they'll eat, they'll drink, and then any age people can go in to see the music, because that's a little different. For some reason, the old Blue Whale, even though it had some food, something about it, you could, after a while, if you were under 18, you couldn't go in. 18,
Okay.
21,
Yeah.
something like that. Anyway, but he he just has all these thoughts in mind, and like programs, like people like us, will hook up with him and suggest a program, and if it fits the whole thing, he's going with it. But I think you guys would really have fun speaking. You'd probably get each other excited about all this stuff.
Oh, I'd love to meet him, and I'd
Yeah,
love to see the new space because I've heard lots of great things about the Blue Whale from a lot of jazz musicians up here.
yeah.
And uh, yeah, when are they opening? Do you know?
Well, we're not sure because it's all they're doing construction stuff,
Okay.
so it's like the waiting for the what are they called? The guys who come and give the okay, the inspectors, and
Yeah.
especially
Oh,
with
and I
all the
bet they're so
fire stuff.
busy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's going a little slow. He was thinking it was going to be open in like October, November, but who knows? But
Yeah.
yeah, he's an amazing person. He blows my mind. I had a good laugh with him when I visited with him recently. It's like, oh my God, we thought the other blue whale was like huge, and it was at the time. But look at this, man. This is like triply huge. It's just
And you got to see
amazing.
inside?
Oh yeah, yeah. He had
Oh,
he had a
wow.
walkthrough actually
Okay. Yeah.
a few months ago. So everybody in town came in. It was really fun. He had
Wow.
some music playing, and yeah, it was fun.
Oh, that's great. I want to be there when it opens, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. I went to the Blue Note last week.
Now, okay, where is the Blue Note? That's over in New York, right?
Hollywood.
Oh, wait, what am I thinking then?
Well, I mean, yeah, the Blue Note is in New York and in Japan and wherever else it is. But so they just opened in Hollywood.
Oh, okay, they just opened one. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. How
So
is it?
it was gorgeous room,
Yeah.
really beautiful room. Actually, I'll show you because I'm sure people will want to see. Let's see. Um, let's see. Where is it? Oh, it's not here. Oh, no, that's not it. That's not it. Where is it? That's it. Come on. Okay, here is, wow, look at that beautiful bar. And here's the
Mm,
gorgeous. Here's they put a lot of money into this.
yeah.
And this is the rest of it. It's really beautiful, isn't it? Thank you. And yeah, my husband again. It's incredible. My husband
Fantastic.
doesn't he doesn't come out all the time to hear jazz, which my friends know. That's why I was joking. But it's very reminiscent of the other Blue Notes, but it's definitely going through its beginning stages. You know, they didn't have the bar fully stocked, and then
Yeah.
they weren't playing jazz. You heard like "You Are the
Yeah.
Sunshine of My." They were playing hits from the '70s, and it was like, why aren't you playing jazz? It's the Blue Note. I mean, the group wasn't to me a super jazz group. It was like jazzy, but it was kind of electronic dance music. I
Hmm.
just wanted to see the Blue Note, but yeah, so I'd go back, but the people who they're booking, there's not very many jazz people. There's like
Interesting.
two or three that I want to see coming up in the next bunch of months, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, so anyway, but it's still it's bringing jazz or the idea of jazz to the public, and
Yeah.
it's a beautiful room, and I think people would go there just as a destination. They're also opening a second room that's attached to it with a separate entrance called the B side.
Hmm.
And I guess it's booked in the same way. Maybe it's smaller. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
I'm gonna have to go check it out. You know, to be honest, I'm ashamed to say I've been to so few. I don't even know if I've been to any of the great jazz clubs in Los Angeles, Orange County since I came here. It's funny. I joke with my wife Jen that there was a point where I came over here where I was like, okay, it's time to get into performance and start getting my name out there a little bit more. And then I kind of skipped a few steps and just opened up my own club. And then just, and I haven't been anywhere. I need to go out to these places and check them out. And yeah, gosh, I've just been so busy because I was hustling, for the
Yeah,
first 2 years being over here. I was just so busy, just trying to make something work,
yeah, yeah.
and then the past year is really when it's all flourished. But hopefully soon I'll be able to even step away from this place from time to time and not be here 7 days a week and
Well, I'm going to
get out
tell
there.
you, I'm going to tell you who's coming because you may want to come out. Hold on
Yeah,
one
what do we
second.
got?
There's just, um, hold on one second because I think you may want to. Oh, come on. Sorry, I'm looking for the proper thing. Robert Glasper was there.
Wow.
Um, website, yes, but shows. Okay, Robert Glasper. I saw this group called the Philharmonic. It's kind of more contemporary stuff.
Hmm.
Oh, and Ravi Coltrane is going to be there. I wonder what Ravi Coltrane is sounding like these days. Um, Kenny Garrett.
He's coming out there too.
Yeah, I thought you may want to hear him. Esperanza Spalding is coming.
Oh yeah.
Um, and but yeah, Kenny Garrett.
Kamasi Washington. Whoa.
Yes,
I'm looking at the
Kamasi
same list
Washington.
here. This is fantastic.
Actually, I think Kamasi is doing a whole bunch of stuff. Well, look, September 30th through October 12th. That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I wonder why he did that. It's like, was that because so many of his fans are here, or, um, family, or, I mean, that's like 2 weeks.
I bet he'll sell it out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. So, anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
gonna have
you
to
can
go.
see,
Maybe we can go to a show together. Let's plan something.
sure. Oh, Branford Marsalis is coming in October. Okay. So there are some real jazz people, but
Yeah.
not a lot. But anyway,
Well,
yeah,
the site looks great. This is good news. This is all very wonderful. Oh
yeah.
gosh, they've got some heavy hitters there. Charlie Puth's going there. This is crazy.
Who's that?
Charlie Puth, he's a pretty big, kind of like a pop singer.
Oh,
Um, Actually, Jen would love to go to that. We're going to have to get out to one of those shows. Blue Note.
yeah. So, um, so I'm curious. I mean, this usually is an interview question, for people, but still. Um, oh, Kimberly, okay. Esperanza on the 4th. My friend is going on the 4th. Ah, I can't go on the 4th. Sorry, Kimberly. We bumped into each other there. Um,
Beautiful.
so, yeah, the question is, what happened to you as a child? what what happened to you? How did you go? Oh, I think I'm going to take this creativity thing a little further, or jazz, or what happened?
Yeah. I fell off the back of a car and hit my head on the bitumen. And sometimes I've wondered about that because they say that like kind of head trauma when you're very young can lead to somewhat erratic behavior um, later in life. I don't know. I'm not too erratic, but I have my ways. No, man, I had a real fantastic upbringing. I'm very, very, very fortunate. I grew up on the Sunshine Coast in Australia, and it's this just beautiful subtropical area. We lived in the hinterland, and my parents had great vision.
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you because it's so
Please,
good, but I need to qualify two things.
yes,
What does hinterland really mean, and
okay,
what is the Sunshine Coast?
okay. So the Sunshine Coast is an area about an hour north of Brisbane, which is the capital city
And
of
that's north, right?
yeah, it's you might say it's just a little bit above kind of the middle of the east coast of Australia.
Right, because I've been to Brisbane. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so if you had to go like 45 to an hour north, you would have been on the Sunshine Coast.
Oh,
And it's just a beautiful place. Rainforests and
oh,
volcanic mountains and uh you know beautiful beaches and waterfalls and hiking, and so lots of nature when I was growing up. And lots of running around the fields with my brother catching giant snakes and all sorts of things. And yeah, mum and dad, they had great vision. So we grew up in the Mormon church. I no longer really affiliate myself with the church, but culturally, it's still in my blood. And
don't forget
so
the hinterlands.
oh yeah, the hinterlands. Yeah, so hinterland just means it's kind of like inland from the ocean,
A
but
little
not
far, yeah,
yeah, but
far.
not inland. It's kind of like I don't know. That's about as much as I know. But so
Yeah.
we lived about 30 minutes from the ocean,
Okay.
and they always wanted to have a farm, so we grew up on a 30-acre farm there, and we had the horses. And at one stage, I had like 100 chickens, and I bred Japanese bantams and turkeys and homing pigeons and all sorts of things. And so I was actually a real farm kid. I probably thought I'd be like the minister of agriculture or something. Like that's at least what I told them when I was in high school. Um, but I had musically speaking, I had some really great mentorship. Mum and dad really saw my talents and my gifts, and they said it was very generous of them. They really sacrificed a lot to have me in a private school, Sunshine Coast Grammar School, and that was a school that was very well known for its music program and specifically the jazz that they were doing there. And the two directors of that program, Brendan Scully and Charlie Sims, um, they had a different approach. That there were some schools on the coast that would teach their big bands like three songs for the whole year, and they would just perfect those three songs so that they could win all of the competitions. But uh, Charlie and Brendan, they both said, no, we're going to learn heaps of music so that we can do gigs together and we can, it was just to them, it was all about the passion and the community and the joy of making music together.
Yeah.
And so they really instilled that in me and they gave me opportunities and they introduced me to the right person, Paul Cusick, when it was time for me to audition for university. And they just really encouraged me in that way. And so over time just started doing gigs when I was getting older and even in university I guess I was I'll admit I've never been, as you may have heard in that trumpet solo at the start of this episode, I've never been the guy to barricade myself in a room for 10 hours and practice C, like I've never been the like the guy who obsesses over technique and things like that. It's just I don't know, it's just it never hit me like that. But what I was interested in is while I was studying, I was definitely the kid in university who was getting a lot of gigs, trying to put things together, trying to, get out there and do corporate gigs. And I actually decided halfway through university, or towards the end of my degree, actually, that I was going to leave the degree because I got an opportunity um, to go and take my quartet onto the cruise ships. And so I stopped the degree, finished it later on, but uh, that was fantastic because that was a year total between three different contracts of just me being with the same musicians every single day with 3 or 4 hours of playing at night. And it was just, there's nothing better to get you, experienced at something like jazz and holding an audience and communicating in the right ways and all this sort of stuff. So I really learnt a lot then. And it's funny that opportunity only came because I had previously taken out like a $20,000 government loan to start a business and it was not going to make that back. So I was like, I've got to find something else cool to do, right? That that I can pay this off. And within a month of me saying, okay, I've got to figure something out, I had my dream gig on a cruise ship and it was just awesome. I met my wife on the cruise.
Oh, well.
And now I'm just telling my whole life story, but yeah, essentially, what happened in my youth, I just have really good parents who just really encouraged me. I was always that hyper creative kid who like, now I'm a cowboy, and so I want all that equipment. And now I'm this, and I want all of that, and now I'm the trumpeter, and and all the way along the way, they were just very encouraging of me, trying to shine the light of my gifts into the world. That was their encouragement, and that was totally built into the religion. City is a city set on a hill cannot be hid. Like shine your light before men. It's the whole biblical idea of like there's something within you. Figure out what that is, and then let that light shine into the world. And they were just so encouraging in that way. And so I always felt even into my 20s and now, I always felt like uh, I'm on an adventure here and I've just got to listen. I've got to be wise. I've got to figure out what are the gifts that I've been given and how can I use them in the world to do cool things, beautiful things, things that um, benefit others. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened in my 20s, but I'll stop rambling and you know that's my childhood anyway.
Very interesting. Yeah, it's really cool. Very,
Yeah, I've got
very
no sob
interesting.
story. I
And
didn't
it's
come out of I didn't rise from obscurity and poverty.
right.
It's just I'm very fortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And it's probably um, part of the reason that you seem very mature. I, you know, I, how old are you?
I'm 32.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good, that it can be an age where people are mature or not.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, okay. Well, let me add to that then because I feel like oh my gosh, maturity. See, my mentor Rocco, he always says the whole spiritual progress the whole spiritual program, no matter what it is, it all comes back down to like maturity and your ability to see with eyes wide open, he always says, the reality of the situation you're in, the reality of the world you're in, and the reality of yourself, right? And it definitely hasn't come easy, and I still feel very immature from time to time. And but this comes to my 20s. I was really lucky because when I was about uh, I don't know how old I was back in 2017. I'm not going to do the math, but back in 2017, I started a podcast about Stoic philosophy. And because I was exploring philosophy, I was very lucky that I got interested in that, started diving deeper, and it really changed me and it really inspired me. And I wanted to talk to more people about it. So I started talking. And, 200 episodes later, and I've had the great pleasure throughout my 20s to talk to philosophers and poets and theologians and uh, priests and mystics and all sorts of really interesting people who were very much rooted in like the classical worldview, the virtue ethics, Greek philosophies, Eastern philosophies, all sorts of things that really point towards a spiritual path. And so I feel like so much of my 20s was learning who I was, learning what I kind of wanted to do in the world, and just trying as hard as I could to be locked into that particular path of being led ever closer to the actualization of yourself, and therefore inviting others to be a part of that as well. And so, whatever maturity, and I'm grateful that you perceive it, whatever maturity you are perceiving, I attribute to the fact that I've had great mentors who have just been honest with me, and tried to help me to elevate to a higher level of maturity. But oh my gosh, it's so hard. I don't know how you do it. Right?
Well,
It's
who says I did it, or anybody did it? I mean, right? There's the it's just like everything. There's this sweet smelling stuff, and as my friend would say, is that my shit? You know,
yeah, yeah,
that smell my shit. So there's this piano player, Carl Schroeder. He was so funny. He was a very bodacious guy and teacher. He taught at Musicians Institute, and he would totally swear. And I mean, he was really bodacious, but everyone across the world knew him, and but that's the kind of thing he would say. Is that my shit?
I love it.
But
It
yeah,
makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, I guess I perceive in you like it's like a soul maturity, and it's really nice. It's a good feeling. It draws me to you, and probably lots of other people too. Regardless of whether they call it something or recognize it, it probably just draws people to you.
Mm.
Um,
I definitely recognize that. I mean, and I think there is a community of kindred spirits,
yeah,
and it's funny going back to Stoicism. I mean, they called it the cosmopolis, right? Essentially, the community of wiser minds, right? The call it the initiated, the people who, like you say, that kind of that soul maturity. Not that I'm claiming to to have entered the cosmopolis yet, but there is something to that. I think spiritual or psychological adults recognize spiritual or psychological adults,
yes,
you know.
yes,
And
for sure.
again, this is something I'm constantly working on, and I'm particularly with Rocco Jarman. I'll mention his full name because he's a poet, and he's a poet and philosopher from Australia. When I met him, it was when he was interviewing me on his podcast about my poetry. And at the end of that conversation, I kind of looked at him and I said, this is that moment when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? It was totally that moment because we realized we had so much in common, but also he had a lot to share with me. And his whole project in life is based around trying to reconcile spirituality with science, and his uh, the integrity with which he holds that particular calling has been such an inspiration to me. And I have fallen so short of his mentorship, of being worthy of his mentorship in my ability to truly level up and receive what he's giving me. But what I do know is that I was talking to my mum about this the other day as well. We really do live in a time, I think, where and this is one of Rocco's major messages, and I've come to learn that it's true. We live in a time where there is just less and less initiation. The spiritual adult reaching their hand down and saying, I can see within you something beautiful. Now let me initiate you into a higher level of thinking, a higher way of being, and I think this is what religions are for. This
Yeah.
is what real spiritual programs are for, philosophical programs even.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm just lucky enough that I've got people like that in my life who kind of ask me to level up, and it's not easy. It's super difficult. But yeah, I mean, like totally, I feel the same as you, Kathy. I mean, you recognize it when you see it, you know.
Yeah. I love that concept of initiation. And,
Mm.
what you're talking about reminds me of, I think, what attracted me about jazz when I was a child. And, it part of it was this beingness that these jazz musicians had, from my father's, you know, comrades, I mean, going to the rehearsals, hanging out. I mean, I used to joke that the guys would flirt with me, I was like 5 or something, and that's why I liked it. But it was the feeling, this camaraderie, and and it was like an initiation too.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
I remember the first jazz group that I saw without my dad. My sister took me to this famous club in Boston, and we saw the Modern Jazz Quartet. It was a very small club, jazz workshop, and we were sitting in the front row, and I mean, it was small, and I was, I mean, the music, first of all, was at this super high level, and it was all at this level, it was all of the music, it was the aesthetic universe. It was there, and they were so beautiful. They were dressed well, they respected each other, they were open to the audience. I mean, that made such an effect on me. And then, the following years when I came out here, especially, um, my early years here were very involved with the old guys who that's what they it was a family, it was a community, it was, you know, come in,
Yeah.
and so yeah, it's really, I miss that. I mean, I think the younger crowd has that. I mean, we're brothers and sisters, and it's good. But that stuff especially was just so great. It was a
Yeah.
little different level or something, or a little different universe. It was just great, just great.
I mean, it's so magical, right? Just seeing what happens when I mean, okay, like to maturity, right? Even in playing, you can tell somebody who is mature in their playing or not.
Yeah,
Uh, and it, jazz is so wonderful because it leaves so much room for truly magical moments to happen, to come out, uh, to see the height of somebody's dedication to their craft when they're soloing over something, and it's just and everybody's locked in, and the absolute magic that comes out when that happens. And I really feel like in that way, I mean, jazz has a long tradition just of welcoming in the younger players,
Yeah.
but also there's limitations. You know, hey, great playing, thanks for sitting in with us, but you know when you're not having a conversation musically to the level that you could be, right? And like I always say, like jazz is like it's just a different language. If everybody knows the language in the band, then a great conversation can be had. But in the same way as language, some people have a much richer vocabulary or a much better understanding of how those words fit together. And when you watch, I mean, I'm even thinking back to that concert that we just had here. I felt like I was being initiated when I was watching this 15-year-old Emmett shredded on the keys because I'm sitting there thinking, what's my excuse? It's time to level up. You know what I mean? Like this kid's 15 and he's giving it his all and he's bringing so much maturity and such a delicate touch to this piano. I'm like, wow. I'm there's an invitation in that for me, right?
Yeah.
It's time to rise to a new level. Right? I just think and to be honest, I am heartened by the level of community that we do have in the jazz scene, especially down here in Orange County. I really don't know about the LA scene, but I'm getting to know some of the players down here, especially now, and there's a lot of spiritual maturity in this group of musicians, and there's a lot of desire for community and for reaching the hand down and helping the younger kids come up and giving people opportunities and sharing opportunities. And that I think is something that we all have to foster, um, and play our part in. Hopefully I'm doing a little bit, there and it's being well received.
Yeah, I think it's great. Um, there's so much I want to say. Okay.
Let's go
Well,
everywhere. What do you want to explore?
well, this month has been interesting. I've gone to a few concerts because I'm kind of pulling back a little from the hamster,
Hmm.
the hamster rotation. I've been going to um, a little more unique shows, and this church downtown, the First Congregational Church, has been having these different musical events that I've gone to several. One is a man who I know very well. He's an improvisational singer, Dwight Tribble. He's from the World Stage. Are you familiar with the
No,
World
no,
Stage at all?
no, I'm
So the
not.
World Stage is in Degnan Park, which is traditionally kind of a black and Hispanic neighborhood, more
Mhm.
so. And it's been there for years. And Billy, oh gosh, what was his name? Roland, what? Oh, Billy Higgins. So the drummer, Billy Higgins, who was an old school guy, like an incredible drummer, played like this and played brilliantly. Anyway, he opened this place called the World Stage probably, I don't know, maybe 50 years ago or more in this area. And and then so the World Stage is still open. It
This
literally
is a
moved.
club or a restaurant
Yeah,
or
it's a
okay.
club, kind of a community
Yep.
club. Um, so lots of different things happen. You should check it out. I think it'd just be,
Yeah.
inspirational for you to kind of see what they're doing and what they've done. Um, and then Barbara Morrison, the great jazz blues singer, she opened a place called the Morrison Performing Arts Center, which was a few doors away, and that was a whole scene. She also opened another place right next door, the Blues and Jazz Museum, where there was jams. And yeah, I mean, this area is very supportive, you know. Now,
And
why
is
did I?
that still there, the museum?
The museum is not, but the performance center is.
Okay, yeah.
However, I think, I'm not sure if it's moving across the street. They just built a new building in that area. And I know the guy who has been running the performance center is going to be running music over there. So I'm not sure if the performance center is moving over or not.
Hmm.
But the world stage, you know, it's pretty great. So Dwight Tribble has been running the world stage for a number of years now. He got kind of handed over to him. He's a very interesting man. You should check out a little bit of his singing. It's very interesting.
It's
He's
Dwight Shribble?
Tribble.
Tribble.
Yeah. Like I could just play you a hair, a little bit of him, and
There we go. Yeah.
because he's really an interesting man. Let's see. Oh, it would be nice to see him do it. I mean, you could hear him, but he's basically. Let me see if I might. I think. Whoops. Let's see. Dwight Tribble. That was that. It's hard, man. I've been downloading so many pictures, old pictures, that all I'm seeing is my old photos. Okay, Dwight, come on. Maybe it was July. Oh, here we go. So you just have to see a little bit of him, and you'll get the idea. Okay, so oh, let's see.
I'm seeing the world stage now as well. It just looks beautiful.
Oh yeah. Now this is pictures. Oh, here we go. So it's improvisational. That's what it is.
Is this at the church?
So he sings songs too, but
Yeah.
but he sings like he'll sing a kind of a normal song that you know,
Yeah.
like an old jazz tune or something, but he does it with that kind of. It's almost like a Betty Carter thing to me,
Mm,
you know,
mm.
and he's like he opens his mouth real wide, and it's like God is coming through him,
Yeah, yeah.
and he goes through all emotions. Like you're sitting there listening to him, and you're it's like every emotion you can think of is coming out of him, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went to see that. I went to see this other guy, Huval. He's Israeli, but he kind of mixes Israeli jazz and flamenco.
Mm.
They had a brilliant flamenco singer and a flamenco dancer that was brilliant, and a few instrumentalists. Went to see that. I even went to see Laffy. Are you
Oh
familiar with
yeah.
Laffy?
Yep, yep.
I went to see her the other night. I I appreciated what it was, but I wouldn't, I'm not like, I was a fan before I saw her because I heard her doing all these different things, Brazilian and stuff, jazz, but now she's really like a pop star,
Yep. Yep.
and it's kind of in the box. But I mean, it's great. She's bringing jazz to young people, and,
Yeah.
you know, and then I also saw this singer at this recording club, which I have to just tell you about because you'll be amused. Um, Her name was Valentina Shelton, 26 years old, tall, kind of insouciant,
Please
person.
teach me what that word means.
I love
That's a
that word.
great word.
Yeah,
Insouciant.
yeah, insouciant. It's like, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want.
Love it.
It's a great word. Um, and she had a great band. She played piano. She plays piano too, pretty
Mm,
well. But she didn't do it the whole time because she had a brilliant guitar player, Brazilian guy,
mm.
and she wrote a bunch of her songs. I liked about half of them, like a lot, and she sang the crap out of jazz. She did a Broadway song that was very challenging and great. She did a song in French that was beautiful. I guess French is a second language for her. Her father is like a movie director or producer or
Mm.
something. So she came up in an artistic family. But so I've just been checking out all these different people. It's interesting. I'm really enjoying, looking at all these different people. My friend, I went to that church. My friend had an outdoor drum circle with about 75 people attending. And my
Oh my
friend
gosh.
is fabulous. She's a bundle of joy, and she led these people, a lot of them beginners,
Yeah.
into this heightened state that we were talking about, this aesthetic universe that you and I
Yeah.
experience by playing. She led the whole group into that. I was very impressed. So, um, I have to tell you about this recording club. This is such a mind blower. So I was watching this woman, Valentina Shelton, and I was sitting there. It was this really beautiful studio in Santa Monica, and and the room we were in was kind of a room that you could do a video in. They had a set up for a stage that was nice, and
Mm.
the sound was great, the lights, all that. And I was thinking, this reminds me of another place that a few years ago, Leroy Downs. Are you familiar with him? Leroy
No.
Downs. Leroy Downs is a curator, he's a DJ. He's created a lot of heavyweight jazz stuff here in
Mm.
LA. And he just keeps going. He just it's bubbles out of him, He's really great.
Yeah.
And he's a great MC. He has this charming thing about him, and he's very knowledgeable. Anyway, so he had a fundraiser, and probably about, I don't know, 5 years ago, something like that. And it was in East LA, and this studio was like in the middle of East LA, and it looked kind of like this particular place. And I was just thinking, oh, I have to see about if that studio is still around. Well, Valentina says, "Oh, the owner of the studio is here. Come on up." And it was him. It was the guy who had owned and built this other studio.
Mm.
And so, anyway, make a long story short, he's a piano player from Chicago. And talk about like how he came up with this concept. So he built this club, and he decided that he was going to make a member thing.
Yeah.
So he has members, they give an initiation fee, and then they pay 450 a month for over 1,000 hours of recording time.
Got it.
And
Okay.
he has several rooms in there. It's beautiful. There's a little gym outside. there's
Wow.
there's a podcast room. And I think you can go higher than that or buy out the place for a number of days. and
Yeah.
and it works. It's like people
Wow.
share the space, and and
I want to come and see this place. What's it called again?
it's called the Recording Club,
The Recording Club.
and it's
Okay.
in Santa Monica, and you can get a tour. And it's
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything like that, I mean, really, like a place out in the world other than like friends, whatever, sharing something.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I mean, there's just we can do so many things today. I really think, yeah, we're seriously only limited right now by the ideas that we have, and the community that we can develop around those ideas. And I just feel like, especially in Los Angeles and Orange County, I couldn't believe it when I first came over here. Like, there's so many people and there's so many creative people. This is the hub of the world for creativity and artistry, really, in many ways. Um, it's so heartening and cool to see interesting things like that popping up, you know, and we get to be a part of it.
I know. I asked him, I said, I don't know how you did this. I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah,
I wanted to interview him, but he's so busy. He's like, he really doesn't have time for an interview.
yeah.
But he just looked, he had the funniest look on his face. It was kind of like, it was great. But yeah, so I know we're kind of winding down today because Simon has some stuff to do. So in the next, 10 minutes or 5, 10 minutes, we're going to
Yeah, I've got time.
close off. But um, um, so presently, or maybe near present, whatever, you've been a singer, you've been a trumpet player, well, and you play a little bit of all the instruments behind you. Um, I think you play a touch of piano.
I do play a touch of piano. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
You're you're a
Although after
philosopher.
hearing Emmett on Saturday, I'm not so sure. I feel like an idiot. but
I know what you
but
mean.
I'm picking it up. I'm getting there. Yeah.
Practice, practice. Um, um,
And don't forget the didgeridoo.
okay. Do you have one there?
Yeah, I've got one here. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Oh, I love the didgeridoo too. I only started playing that about 3 years ago.
Oh,
And
really?
that was a great joy. Because for some reason, when I was very young, I was obsessed with like Aboriginal culture in Australia. For some reason, it really spoke to me, and I wanted to have the art and again, going back to my creative young self, wanting to embody the persona of all the things I wanted to be. And so, but I never took the didgeridoo seriously when I was that age, and really it was like 3 years ago, and we were going past a store in northern Queensland, and I said, I've just got to get one. So I invested in it, and it's such a beautiful instrument. It's
Wow.
it's a real joy. That's a spiritual journey right there. The the didgeridoo for sure.
Next
Yeah,
time, we'll have you play it a
yeah.
little
I'll
bit.
play it for you when you come down here next. I'd love
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Yeah,
And if we have another conversation, another
yeah.
interview, because obviously we've just touched on a little inch. But so you, you studied philosophy. Would you call yourself a philosopher? I mean, do you speak on specifically philosophy?
That's one of those questions I say I'll leave it up to people when I die. You can decide whether I was a philosopher or not.
Yeah.
For me, I take it right back to like the root meaning of the word. It goes back to the Greek philo, love, Sophia, wisdom. And so to be a philosopher is to be somebody who's deeply invested in that journey of loving wisdom, right? And seeking it. And what do you do if you love something? You seek it out. You pay attention to the details. You go after it. Um, and so I never studied formally, but I just started exploring a little bit more, interviewing a lot of people, and to the extent that I'm engaged in the service of, uh, well, I guess the project of trying to embody good philosophy, sound philosophy, or wisdom and to try and share it with the world as well. Yeah, I'm a philosopher, but again, it's just something I'll leave that up to my death to decide.
Okay. Then there's something else. What's the other?
Poetry, maybe you're thinking.
Poetry,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
So, are you an active poet?
yeah. I'm writing a little less these days, but it comes out every so often.
Yeah.
It's never been something that I pursue. It's something that kind of comes through when the moment is right. And for I wrote something once. I said, uh, uh, this might go against my previous statement about being a philosopher, but I said, I'm a musician in my being, uh, a philosopher. I'm a philosopher in my heart, a musician in my being, and a poet by calling. Because my dad is a poet, a beautiful poet, and he always wrote and still writes poetry about family members and the places that he travels and all this sort of stuff. It's really, really wonderful way with words. But I never thought of myself as a poet at all. Never considered it. And then one day in my early 20s, I kind of wrote down this waking dream. It was very archetypal and very strange imagery. And I was like, whoa, what is this? And I took it to my friend Sharon LaBelle and I said, what do you think of this? And she said, you've got to keep on doing that. Right. and so, and that was the spark that started about 3 years of nonstop
Oh,
every night, just transcribing the things that were flowing through. And it was all very strange and mystical. And uh, a lot of it came through in this kind of King James Bible sort of language, that kind of archaic these and thines and thous. And
hmm.
um, so my poetry is something that's very sacred to me, and it's something that I try not to get in the way of. It's Rocco calls it the archaeology of the oh, no, the journalism of the soul, right? So I'm trying to archaeology is not a bad metaphor either. And just I'm just doing that digging and seeing what's in there and seeing what comes through. Yeah.
So, hi, Jeremy. Jeremy Siskind is here.
Oh, hey Jeremy.
We talked about you already.
Oh yeah.
Um, is your work available to read?
Some of it you can find it if you Google well enough. Because some of it is probably on my website, thewalledgarden.com. That's the philosophical society that I started with a few people from around the world, um, and then some of it's probably on my website. I do have a book available, but again, I don't. I mean, email me if you want it, or come to the studio. I mean, it's available, but in boxes, like many of us jazz musicians in our records, or CDs and things like that. I'd
Yeah.
love to. I mean, so much of the inspiration for starting the Sanctuary Studio was I've just got these journals full of poetry and all of these ideas for music that I want to create and all the real art that I want to bring into the world. um, a lot of that is very vulnerable stuff, and a lot of it is stuff that I just haven't even looked at again. I just need to go back and look at it, start piecing it all together, seeing how it relates, and yeah, that's really my next project, and it's the thing that I am. I always throw under the rug because of all the busyness and the things that I have to do, But really, I mean, it's project number one. It should be is that art. So yeah, I've got a lot of work to do, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but it sounds like at least you're ready.
Yeah, I
You're
hope
ready
so.
to do
Yeah,
the work. So
yeah,
I love that. That's really great. I'm looking forward to that. And theworldgarden.com. I have not visited that, so I'm gonna visit that. It's very
and
interesting. And also I want you to recommend a simple entry book into Stoicism.
sure.
I want you
Yeah,
to think you don't have to tell me now, but yeah, I'd like that recognition and um, recommendation, I
mm.
meant. And I'd like to interview Rocco.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you do. He's he's a profound person. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you can
Yeah.
connect
I
the,
would love to make that connection. Yeah.
yeah, he sounds very intriguing.
Yeah. He's an interesting guy. I mean, he's just you get freaky geniuses that come along every so often in whatever field. And in the field of spirituality, particularly hermetics, even things like archetypes and psychology and all of this good stuff. He's just a freaky genius. His mind just works on that level.
Yeah.
Um,
I love
yeah,
the idea of spirituality and science. You mentioned that, and I mean, yeah, I really like that. It appeals to two different sides of me, not science necessarily, but logic for me,
yeah,
logic
yeah.
and spirituality. And yeah, um, yep, I spent many years thinking, having kind of that balance in my point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's never more necessary than now to figure out how to reconcile these two things. I mean, so I have a tendency towards doomsday kind of thinking, and
You
I
do?
just, oh yeah, totally. Well,
Oh my
I
gosh.
always think of that kind of Jungian idea
Surprise. Yeah.
that is uh, essentially that as our technological capabilities increase,
Yeah.
if we don't match that technological capacity with equal or greater moral wisdom,
Right.
then the whole project is kaput because we're inevitably going to use that technology to ruin things, as is
Yes.
so often happening now. And yeah, don't underestimate how much of the stuff that I do is motivated by this like this like uh great it's like I really believe that we're in a time where now more than ever, like people need to figure out what are the unique gifts that they have or the things that they could do to make things better, just little by little. And then do that, do things that build community, do things that wake people up, do things that invite people into greater presence and awareness and discernment, and just do things that, what's that saying? Tend to the part of the garden that you can touch. Gosh, we need a lot of garden tenders right now. We need people taking care of people and trying to make the world more beautiful. There is so much beauty now, but I really do I do wonder about the moral wisdom of
Yeah.
people just in general
I
and
have
the
a
awareness.
few short things to say. One
Yeah.
is fear and love.
Yeah.
So I read something great that all emotion comes from one of those. That's at
Yeah.
the base. Fear or love. I'm telling you, that idea really helped me a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm leaving you with that. And also, again, I'm the glass half full person. I'm sorry. I just am. So what you just said, I absolutely agree with, of course. But how I see it is, especially from the pandemic on, the pandemic blew. I mean, regardless of what it was and why it was there and the bad parts, it blew so many people's ideas up of what they were doing, you
Yeah.
know, and people started going, wait a minute, I don't want to do this. What do I want to do, And
Yeah.
so I actually see what's going on as it's, I don't want to say fate, but I see it as we were talking about before, an unraveling of what's supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
And I listen to so many people like Alan Watts on YouTube. I listen to a lot of people like that. Everybody is saying the same thing. They're
Yeah.
all saying, and there's thousands of people listening and partaking of these people, that I'm
Yeah.
listening to. So I really, truly think that we're going to be okay. I mean, the other stuff that clicks off my fear, and all the negative stuff in me. Um, I just, it's all a friggin' lie. I mean, many lies, but the whole package is a lie. It's not really anything to do with who we are, you know? So I just want to say that. Remember, fear
Yeah.
and love. And
Yeah.
when you get when you feel negative, remember, is that coming from fear or love?
Yeah.
That'll solve your problem.
You're going to love Rocco because his whole philosophy is based around exactly what you just said there.
Cool.
100%. And I do have to kind of walk back a little bit. Like I'm totally on board with that whole worldview.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Stoics taught that you're like a dog tied to a cart, and that cart is fate. It's just moving along. Now you can either drop down and be dragged by it, or you can get up and walk along merrily. Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I think what I'm trying to get at is so much of my motivation comes from that question of, am I doing everything I can to play the role that I'm here to play
Right.
to bring about more beauty, meaning, uh, in the lives of people around me, and
Actualization, right?
exactly, and
Yeah.
so that is it. But I know what you're saying. It's like sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I've just been like motivated by fear, and it's such a heavy, you know, and everything has two sides. You just flip that upside down, and there's a way in which that can be a motivation towards love, but still having that bird's eye view of like everything's not perfect. Everything,
Right.
there's problems to fix.
Reality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reality, that's it. Yeah.
Witness, being the witness and stuff.
Amen to that. Yeah,
Yeah.
witness. Beautiful.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to let you go because I know you have to go. But thank you so much, Simon Drew
Oh,
of the
thank you, Kathy.
Sanctuary in Santa Monica. We really didn't talk about, you know, some things that we would have talked about. But if you're ever in Santa Ana, downtown, right? It's
Yeah.
downtown. Yeah, and there's like an open, what is that called? That night that we played?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, the Art Walk late show.
Art
So we have an
Walk.
Art Walk every month
Yeah.
here in Santa Ana. Can I
And
make one invitation here as well?
yeah.
Well, I just have to let everybody know who's listening in now. We're about to celebrate our 1 year anniversary
All
of
right.
the studio, and I can't believe it. It's a joy, and the things that we've already achieved is just so exciting. And so what I'm actually doing 2 weeks from now is I'm flying Rocco all the way from
Oh,
Australia to here,
wow.
and he's putting on a keynote speech, and he's also doing a
Oh,
workshop for artists and creatives on the Sunday. So this is over the 5th to the 7th of September. My other mentor, Sharon LaBelle, is coming down from San Francisco. She's a best-selling author with Penguin Books, well known in philosophical circles, and she also plays the hammer dulcimer. So she'll
wow.
be performing, and it's just going to be a truly special weekend. I'm inviting all of the artists who have come out and performed here in the past year, parents, students, community members. So uh, anyone who's listening and wants to get an experience, this weekend that we're planning to celebrate is really everything that I want to be happening here every weekend. It's philosophy and poetry and music and community, and it's just going to be such a celebration. So if you go to thesanctuarystudio.org, you can find all the information there, and we'd love to see you out.
I'm gonna just write that. Thank you, Mark. Sanctuarystudio.org. Yep, there it is. Jeremy, if you're still listening, you should actually come. Did you send him an email?
I haven't sent him one yet. No.
Yeah, don't forget because I'm sure he would drop by, right?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to see him there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Simon. It was really a total pleasure. And
Let's do it again.
yeah, we'll talk. And I did send you a date for February, by the way.
Oh, fantastic. We're going to get you booked.
I think it was the first weekend.
Awesome.
All right, Simon. Thank you,
Thanks,
my
Kathy.
friend.
All right. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, everyone
Bye.
listening. Bye.
Bye, everybody.